Well, I'm in San Pedro to do my Vans half marathon, and this is going to be like a historical where I grew up at, starting off where I lived for about 15 years on 1031 West 9th Street. Right here is where I grew up. Junior high, elementary, junior high, and high school. I used to park my bike right there on the back steps, and then I would walk to school going through here. Well, just a half a mile from where I started, which where I used to live, is high school. I used to tell my kids I walked 5 miles to school, but it's only half a mile. So there's the old high school. Not what it used to be. Morning. Had a lot of fond memories of Daniels Field. Played football, baseball, did all kinds of things there. And right here is John Reed's, my friend, next to my grandmother's house. We used to be up there in the second floor and watch football games. And then going around the corner, this is where, when I was first born, my parents lived at this complex right here. Yeah. And my dad has a picture of me walking with Daniel Phil in the background. And this is where my grandmother's house was, but they tore it down and put a 2-story building there, so that's kind of sad. My friend Merle Briganti lived in this house. Merle and I used to play catch right here, and he pitched the ball, I'd be right here. This street was just a dirt field, it was not a street, and we had a lot of fun times back in the old days here. And Dana, yeah, a lot of fond memories of here. That's where I spent my junior high. It was in middle school back in those days, from 7th to 9th grade. On 14th Street, just below Cabrillo, this is where, right after my parents got divorced, and this is where I lived, in this apartment right there. Yep. Now going by the boys club. Spend many a time here. They changed the building around. This is the entrance now, but this is where I used to spend a lot of time as a kid. Played Little League Baseball and had many fond memories. Nick Training was the manager, and we used to, he treated us just like his kids. He was a really neat guy. Well, going up this hill, when I was younger, I didn't get so worn out. But on 33rd and San Pedro, and across the street here was Gaffey Street Pool. And I finally made it to the top of Gaffey Street here, and we're coming to where everybody used to come and make out at, because it's such a great view here. And here we go. I love it. I love this town. I love growing up in this town. This is like really was the best place. The lighthouse out there, Catalina's across the way, and Fort MacArthur is right there. Okay, so this is a Korean friendship bell, and as you can see, it's quite a nice view at this point. This time in the morning. closer look at it. By the way, we're at mile 3 now into our trip. That's pretty cool. Well, this is where Gaffey Street ends, is at Point Fermin Park. Okay, this is the Point Fermin Lighthouse. They make a lot of movies here. If you ever watch Murder, She Wrote, they did about 3 or 4 movies using this lighthouse. And beautiful trees here. The Pacific Ocean down there. Yeah. And again, the lighthouse. It's been here for a long time. And like I say, a lot of movies have been made here. This is where Pacific Avenue ends, and almost right into the Pacific Ocean. Yep. Now we're going to go from here and walk down to Cabrillo Beach. There's the breakwater. Well, here's another shot of Cabrillo Beach. This is the calm side here, or the rough side. Down on the beach. Boy, does this bring back memories or what? The beach house, the museum. Oh, man, such great memories here. I love San Pedro. Well, right now I'm enjoying a walk on the breakwater. See how far this goes before I turn around. This is really nice and quiet and peaceful out here. Now I'm coming to the end of the pier. And if I was on the other side, it's pretty calm out there. On the other side of the breakers, and really calm on the Innsbruck. Boy, I have fond memories of this place. They had a museum there. I used to go in there all the time. And then right here was the snack bar. Oh, I can remember those hamburgers and french fries, and had that little sandy taste because of the sand would blow right into it. And then right over here is the statue of Cabrillo. This is the calm side of the beach. That's where you coming up on 22nd Street Landing, and a lot of boats in here. I can't believe how many boats. When I was growing up, none of this was here. And like I say, Fort MacArthur was just had all this property coming down here, and they still have well, I think it's the Air Force that's up there now, have housing. I'm not sure what's there. Join the day though. I'm down at the fishing slip where my grandfather, my stepdad, and half the San Pedro industry was when I was growing up. And this is shocking. I hardly see maybe 1, 2, 3 boats in the slip. Boy, back when I was young, they'd be 3 out, sometimes 4 on both sides of the slip, all the way down. And now there isn't. I'm assuming that they're out to sea, but usually not all of them are out to sea at the same time. So here's the harbor. Yes, growing up, one of the big events they had was a fisherman's fiesta, and all the boats would be in. They'd be decorated like the Rose Parade. All the fishing boats were just decorated up. and all the guys that worked on the boats, they had big feast, and you had to have tickets to get on. And then the priests from the church would come down and bless the fleet, and then they would follow the fireboat out and do the harbor, come down the harbor and come back, and this was all filled with people. It was unbelievable. So on television, that was one of the big events in San Pedro, was the Fisherman's Fiesta. And I can't believe that there is hardly a boat in the slip today. Portugal Village. Before, there was nothing here, and they built this restaurant, Portugal Restaurant. And since that time, they built a village, and it was quite popular and very busy. Then as time went along, all the shops shut down. It became like a little ghost town. I think they're trying to revive it now. But Portugal Village, 1.5 miles. Ferry building where several times when I was a young person, I used to take the ferry and go across to the other side of Terminal Island, and I used to go down to the fireboat, which is down by where that bridge is, and check out the fireboat and go back and forth. Now it's a museum here. It's an entrance to the harbor. You can see that there's a cargo ship over there unloading. There's the tugboats and the new fireboat station right there, and the USS Iowa battleship right there. So a nice spot, San Pedro. Well, this used to be the roller skating ring where my sister spent a lot of time down here, and I had to come with her, so I spent a lot of time too. But now it's a market. But boy, had a lot of fun there. On 6th Street, which I used to spend my Saturday afternoons as a kid at the Warner Brothers Theater. And it looks like it's still operational. Well, on 9th and Pacific, a lot of things have changed here. That Riley's was a corner drugstore that had a great snack bar inside there. The building next to it was J.J. Newberry's, where I had my first job after high school. Now we're on 13th and Mesa, and that those apartments right there is where I lived. Last place I lived was before my father and mother divorced. In fact, that dance hall now was Pacific Bowl, and that's where my mom hung out all the time. And that's where she met my dad, who was the bartender there. On 9th and Gaffey, across the street from the library. And here is Cabrillo Avenue School. This is where I went to grammar school and spent from K to 6th grade. I also was a year behind, so I spent many years here. Brings back a lot of memories. And Cabrillo Avenue, across the street with Mary Starr, had their Catholic school right there. Coover's Pharmacy. My sister worked there. Sherry worked there for a short time, and they used to hire me to defrost their ice cream freezer every now and then. Well, I'm coming to the end of my half marathon. The apartments that I lived with for 12 years. This is where I lived. So that was my San Pedro trip. I took it very slow and stopped and looked at places that I grew up at. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you in September.